Russia's Gazprom will again cut gas supplies to the EU. And India stun West Indies to take ODI series. News in details right after this. Now the news in detail. Some persons who showed up to conduct business at the St. Catherine Parish Court in Spanish Town on Monday morning were reportedly turned away by firefighters and police as the probe continues into Sunday's blaze at the administrative office. The workers eventually started to process customers. In the wake of the fire, Chief Judge of the Parish Courts, Chester Crooks, confirmed that because of the damage, full operations of the main court and its outer stations in Linstead, Old Harbour and Portmore would be affected in the short term, while the court's administrative office will be closed until further notice. In a news release Sunday night, Judge Crooks said access to the court's office will be scaled down, but matters previously scheduled for the parish court and its outstations will still be heard. Members of the public who have cases listed for Monday were advised to still attend court in order to be advised of the new dates. The Jamaica Environment Trust JET is calling for a moratorium on a deep sea mining. The call comes against the background of the International Seabed Authority hosting its 27th session in Jamaica. JET notes that delegates from around the world are currently meeting to discuss the fate of the sea floor following the trigger pulled by Nauru on the 2-year rule to begin deep sea mining by mid-2023. The lobby group notes that the deep sea is the largest ecosystem on the planet, making up 90% of the marine environment, emphasizing that life there is stable, slow-growing, and extremely fragile. Further, it underscores that the deep sea is already under stress from pollutants, microplastics, and climate-related impacts, and mining therefore threatens the future of mankind. JET therefore urges the Jamaican government to join in this call. As a leader in the Caribbean and as a small island developing state already trying to cope with the impacts of the climate crisis to protect this vital and virtually unstudied ecosystem. 2 farmers were shot and killed during a robbery at a bar in Claremont, St. Anne this morning. The deceased have been identified as 19-year-old Dimitri Harvey, otherwise called 10K, and Caden James, both of College District in Claremont. It is reported that Harvey and James were among patrons at a party at the bar when around 3 a.m. 3 gunmen entered the establishment. They then proceeded to rob patrons of an undetermined sum of money. During the incident, Harvey and James were shot. The gunmen escaped into the area. The injured persons were taken to the St. Anne's Bay General Hospital, where they were pronounced dead. The Major Investigation Division is probing the incident. Global media and music brands are in a rush to stake their claim in Africa's music industry following the popularity of breakout stars Thames, Burna Boy, and Wizkid. Universal Music Group launched the Virgin African Music label and artist services in June for independent labels and artists on the continent. Additionally, streaming services Spotify, Apple Music, and Boomplay have all entered or expanded their offerings in Africa. The Afrobeat genre is gaining global momentum, with the Billboard launching a dedicated streaming chart earlier this year. The first official trailer for the highly anticipated Black Panther sequel was released over the weekend, much to the delight of fans. The 2-minute excerpt was opened with a rendition of Bob Marley's Woman No Cry. sung by Nigerian star Thames, transitioning to rapper Kendrick Lamar's lyrically potent Be Alright. The singles set the tone for the upcoming film following the death of the main character, Chadwick Boseman, who lost his 4-year battle with colon cancer in August 2020. No Woman No Cry, released in 1974, is one of Bob Marley's most popular singles, sampled and covered scores of times. You're listening to the evening news right here on Suncity 104.9 FM. We'll have more right after this. In business news, aluminum producers are facing a hard landing after a price surge in the first half of 2022. The London Metal Exchange 3-month aluminum price has collapsed from an all-time high of $4,073.50 per ton in March to a current $2,450. Fear of recession is now the dominant theme in industrial metals as a surge in energy prices translate into manufacturing slowdown. High power pricing spells particular trouble for aluminum operators given the energy-intensive nature of the smelting process. In other business news, Massey Holdings have expanded the capacity of its gas operations in Jamaica, a move which the company says is aimed at offering more competitive prices. At the same time, the company is reporting that the cross-listing of its shares on the Jamaica Stock Exchange in January has increased local share ownership close to 90-fold. Massey, a major supplier in Jamaica of LPG cooking gas, is also evolving as a fuel source for motor vehicles. News in the region. Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Gaston Brown said he is considering suing Trinidad and Tobago for $60 million over losses sustained by his country over the collapse of a TNT-based Calico. Kaden Crooks has the details.
Brown stated that they are pursuing litigation against Dupree and Company and may eventually have to sue the government of Trinidad and Tobago, GOTT, because they had agreed to provide a settlement of US $100 million. He said that of that sum, the GOTT had paid about US $40 million. However, the balance, about US $60 million, remains unpaid. Brown explained that they have written to the government of Trinidad and Tobago and they have not even treated them with the type of respect that is typical among countries and colleagues. So they'll be writing to them again. He expressed that it is probably going to be the third time and they hope that their fortunes have improved, that they are benefiting from the escalation in fuel prices, that they will put some system in place to cover the rest of the liability. Brown lamented that if they continue to treat them with contempt, then they will have no choice but to sue them. From the Suncity News Center, I'm Kaden Crooks.
In international news, Russian energy giant Gazprom says it will once again drastically cut gas supplies to the EU through its main pipeline due to maintenance work. Gazprom said stopping another turbine at the Nord Stream 1 pipeline would cut daily production to 20%, having the current level of supply. The German government said there was no technical reason to limit gas supply. It is likely to make it more difficult for EU countries to replenish their stores of gas before winter. The Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which pumps gas from Russia to Germany, has been running well below capacity for weeks and was shut down for a 10-day maintenance break earlier this month. You're listening to the evening news right here on Suncity 104.9 FM. We'll have sports right after this. News in sports. Shy hopes a 13th one-day international ODI 100 is in his 100 ODI went in vain as India pulled off the highest ever one-day run chase at Queen's Park Oval and third highest in the region to stun West Indies by 2 wickets here yesterday. Set 312 for victory over Hope carved out 115 of 135 deliveries at the top of the order. India plundered 100 runs from the last 10 overs to get over the line with 2 balls to spare, taking a 2-0 lead in the 3-match series and clinching their 12th consecutive series over the host. They required 8 runs from the last over but scrapped only 2 runs from the first 3 balls to increase tensions before man of the match Axal Patel struck a high full toss from steamer Kyle Myers for a straight 6 to end the game. In foreign exchange trading news for Monday, July 25th, 2022, the day's foreign exchange trading ended with $1 retailing for $153.70. The Canadian closed the trading day at $119.04, while the pound sterling retails at $185.70. That's it for the news and sports update right here on Suncity 104.9 FM. Please remember to follow our socials at Instagram at Suncity 104_9 FM, Facebook at Suncity Radio.